Last time I spent a few days in the desert outside of Joshua Tree National Park and was shot at. Then we hauled ass back to the coast and hung out around Malibu. I found my way up to an iconic corner on the Mulholland Highway. And if you ride motorcycles and if you know anything about riding in California, this corner is iconic, as most of this road is. Mostly for inexperienced motorcyclists that panic when they come into this corner. And the scene is filled with photographers because it's kind of a little bit of a joke to see all the crashes that happen here because people are going too fast for their skill level, and you see stuff like this all the time. Sometimes it's the result of coming around a corner too fast, in addition with seeing all the people on the side of the road with cameras out. And I've seen some amazing crashes. And this guy actually looks like he knows what he's doing. He has some pretty good skill level, but he levers the bike up. He tries to turn so hard that the frame actually picks the wheels up. And you can see some sparks coming up from the bike. So I don't think he was really sure of what the limits of his motorcycle were, because he went well beyond the limits of this particular motorcycle and wound up on the side of the road. And occasionally you see Jay Leno in one of his amazing cars, and this is just one of many trips Jay Leno that I've seen. Kind of interesting, very unique cars. But anyway, got here early in the morning, spent most of the day here. And, a lot of the morning was spent just kind of waking up and taking in the scenery and getting some breakfast and coffee and all that. But shortly after I got my breakfast, I pulled out the bike and was ready to do a quick tour of Mulholland Highway. But I did spend a few minutes taking some video of my own. Nothing exciting, just people enjoying a nice curvy road in the mountains. And there are lots of canyons in this area, and there's actually at least one much better road. Shortly after breakfast, I rolled out. It was a quick trip to the top of the canyon. I figured I had lots more riding going up the canyon. I actually did, but it was just a quick trip to the stop sign and came back. But it was still a little bit disappointing. I was thinking this twisty road that turns out maybe less than 3 miles of twisties. I figured it went all the way down the canyon, nice and twisty, but it turned into a lot of intersections and houses and things that I don't normally like riding. As you can see up here, it's a lot of houses. But once you get back down the canyon, it turns into something a good bit more interesting. But still, just a very short trip. And there's lots more canyons that are better than this. I'm not really sure, other than the beauty and the views up here. I'm not really sure why this thing is so popular, other than this really tight switchback curve here. Other than that, I don't really know what the appeal of this road is. Maybe it's just a good place for photographers to sit and park and take pictures, and bikers and cars to pull up and chit chat about the road and how awesome their motorcycle or their car is. I'm not really sure, but I got a chance to ride the road for myself. So I mean, it's nothing wrong with it. I just don't know that I would drive 30-40 miles to ride this one patch when there's much better roads in the area. I think just finding a canyon around this part of California would be rewarding. maybe any other canyon. But still interesting to find out the truth about Mulholland. And it was a good morning spent riding. And these are nice curves, don't get me wrong. It's beautiful up here. Just later on in the day, it became so congested that I didn't really want to ride here anyway. So, but a quick trip down to the bottom of the canyon and the Rock Store, which is another iconic stop on Mulholland Highway. And it turns out that there was a small event going on here when I pulled up, and Modus Motorcycles, the Birmingham manufacturer of a V4 motorcycle, was here giving demo rides, and it looked like the line for the demos were hours away, and they were going in the other direction. They were going down to the the flatter, less curvy section of the canyon and probably away for a while. So I decided not even to attempt to try to get a demo on a Modus, and I'm quite sure I could have gotten a demo anytime in Birmingham. So, but I went back up the canyon and actually made quite a few trips because it was very enjoyable. I mean, it's a beautiful canyon, and I did have a blast riding on. This is the curve we're coming up into, and that's where everybody pushes it out to the ditch and falls in the ditch, and you can see a lot of people have gathered since I left. So traffic was getting thick, parking was getting thick, and I was thinking maybe after a few runs on this, maybe it was time for me to get my bus out of the way before I got blocked in by 1,000 cars and motorcycles. But you can see it's kind of an event, especially on the weekends. The place is covered up. It's just kind of insane. It's just no other place to go and ride your motorcycle, it appears. But I did have lots of fun before I departed and went actually into Malibu, and very easy access and parking on the beach. The sun was getting close to going down when I first arrived in Malibu, and I thought, hey, I'm going to take a chance and spend the night here, and I did. Never had a knock on my window, never anything that I expected in Malibu. And though it was still shortly after my departure, I did have some expectations that I would be less welcome in a nicer community than I would in a lower rent district. So my expectations were a 3 a.m. knock on the door from the neighborhood Malibu Police Association, but it never came. But shockingly, I guess I was expecting a similar situation as this one.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Ow! Fucking fascist! Stay out of Malibu, Lebowski! Stay out of Malibu, deadbeat!
Keep your ugly fucking gold-bricking ass out of my beach community.
But of course, that scene never actually happened, and I was able to spend 2 nights on some very lovely real estate. And I'm very thankful to the city of Malibu for letting me hang and camp on the beach and explore the beauty surrounding Malibu. And this was lots of canyons in the area, just a little bit of dirt, but I would take some of these dirt roads, paths, whatever trails you want to call them, and get just far enough till I wound up in somebody's backyard. But it was really interesting exploring some of the areas and finding other even better canyons to explore. And one of the most thrilling things is I finally got to do some legal lane splitting in California. If you don't know, if you don't ride a motorcycle, lane splitting is when you go in between 2 cars to pass. So in other words, you don't have a full lane, but in California it's legal. I've been doing it my whole life, especially when, you know, it's a dangerous situation or, you know, somebody's blocking a passing lane. I just zip between the cars. You know, probably for the last 40 years I've been doing that same thing, just never legally. And it was quite a thrill to be able to do that legally and see everybody else doing it legally. I think it probably should spread to the entire United States, but some people don't like being passed even in a passing lane, much less in between their cars. And this is one of the better canyons that I found. This is Latigo Canyon, and it goes on for miles and miles, and there's not many intersections, not a whole lot of driveways. It was almost as scenic as Mulholland, but lots less traffic. The pavement was better. It was just a much better time riding up and down this road, and I had a blast. And it was all because I had the opportunity to camp on the beach in Malibu and explore the area and really get a feel for it. It's probably one of my favorite towns in California, actually. Even though I could probably never afford to live here, it was sure nice visiting for a couple of days. Join us next time as we move further south towards LA and explore the San Bernardino Mountains and ride on some icy, snowy roads where people are putting snow chains on their cars in California.